You scab. I see you want another job, mate.
Roy Williams, the National Shop Stewards Network, celebrating the fact that after 2 months of action, we finally have a ballot from Unite to take official action, not just in London, not just in Blackfriars, but across the country to defend 1,600 Balfour Beatty electricians that on December the 7th will have their terms and conditions cut by up to 35% by a company making millions of pounds worth of profits. Everyone here tonight, everyone here who's been around for the last couple of months, the activists who have organised these protests, should be very proud of the fact that they have moved the union into finally serving notice against Balfour Beatty, and no more delays should be made.
We can try and stop the deliveries coming in and the deliveries coming out. There's a lorry in there already. If we physically stop it, nothing else is going to come in and out of this job tonight. Let's, once again, it's a democratic process. So we have a show of hands for blockading this entrance. Yes, thank you. I'll take that as a vote. Yes, if you're a labourer, what chance have you got? You got no union fighting for you. How come they're cutting the sparks money by 35%? What makes us 35% less valuable all of a sudden? I'll tell you what it is, it's the company's greed. Balfour Kilpatrick's, Tommy Clark, you name them, they're all greedy bastards. They'd get us for £2 an hour if they could. We're not standing for it. We're going to make a stand right here.
Yeah, we've been coming to these protests for about 5 or 6 weeks, and I think the most important thing of note so far has been that this has just shown that this is really about cuts across the board during the crisis, not just in the public sector, not just in your hospital, library, school, etc. It's also in the private sector, and firms like Balfour Beatty are making massive pay cuts to their workers in order to defend the enormous profits that are just starting to get cut back in this crisis, as you see a rise in the price of raw materials and also a crisis in the City of London today. And I think there is a connection between the protests in St. Paul's and these protests as well. This is all about the same thing. It's about capitalism. In society we need a better system. We need a system that is organised around human needs, human necessity, and not just around the wealth of a few people like we see in Balfour Beatty and the other huge construction firms. So we also need to come and raise these issues about migrant workers and show solidarity with them, because they are definitely a big part of this struggle, but not really represented in the unions at the moment. You do see a few union flags here, but I think it's estimated only 10% of construction workers are actually unionised. There's a large amount of people here and a large amount of workers who are not in unions, and they also need to be represented. So if that means coming onto the streets and doing it themselves, if they're not being represented well enough by the unions, then so be it. That's why people are here today.
Well, like what we've done today, we've shown Balfours that we can turn up and we don't just leave at 7:30. We can stand here longer and we can stay even longer. We can stop traffic we can stop materials from getting in. We can stop workers from getting in. We can affect their production. I've just seen a message from Manchester. They've done the same up there. They've stopped production in the site in Manchester. They're hitting the sites at Carrington's, Balfour Beatty's, and it's a big round of applause for yourselves in the streets up there. St. Paul's, now round the corner, as we've seen on TV, there's a group of people demonstrating about the way our system's run. Now you have first-hand experience about the way this system's run.
system is controlled by a small group of people to their own ends, to make as much profit as they possibly can, to make as much money for their families, while you take home less for your families. There's a group of young people around there trying to do something about it, raise this profile up, and I think they would be pleased if they seen some workers that are facing the cuts but fighting against them in much the same way, to come round and join them and show a bit of solidarity with them and let them know that there's people out there doing something about this as well as them. They're cutting back up to 35% wages. They're cutting back in training so that there's no apprentices coming into the industry. They're de-skilling workers. They're cutting it back to the lowest possible common denominator. Bear in mind the electricians, the training and the skills that they've got, it's took many years as a like semi-profession. Large electric cables going through many of these public buildings could go on fire, the dangers that it could cause to members of the public. But the capitalists, like Balfour Beatty's, they don't care. All they care about is their profit, continually their profit. Now what you've done here in central London is applaudable, it's right, and it's fair, and it's just. And we support your position, and that's why we're here.
Well, my name's Ian, I'm an electrician, I'm working in London. The site we were just protesting at was a Balfour site. Last year they made 21% more profit than the year before and made £50 million. Their managing director gave himself a 5% pay rise to £960,000 a year. I don't see him suffering. I don't see the austerity in his household. It's us that have got to pay for this, and we ain't having it. If the bankers' debt, they can pay it, not us. Thank you.
That's one of the important messages. Fight racism, because the electricians will only win once they link up and make common cause with the migrant workers, so that everyone in this country has the same pay and conditions and a decent right to live and to work and to exist together. And fight imperialism, because as this tents here show, people are willing to stand up against the system and say capitalism is crisis, as that banner over there reads. And in the centre of London, this is inspirational, as speakers before has said. This is bringing more and more people to openly voice their concerns over our future and the future of humanity. There is no capitalist solution to this crisis. This is crisis, this is capitalism, and we must fight it as best we can in all ways and all together. Fight racism, fight imperialism, solidarity, and continue this struggle.
This is a government that is on the edge through scandal, through corruption, and through defending their friends in the arms trade and in the banks and all in the big multinational corporations. We are witness today to united action. We will have united action with you every day that you're out here. On November the 5th, when the general marches come down to London, on November the 9th, when the students demonstrate, and on November the 30th, when 3 million workers in the public sector take strike action against this government. They will also be met with solidarity action from workers in the private sector, and the construction workers are issuing the challenge that every construction site in Britain, ballot or no ballot, shuts down on November the 30th, and we take united action. All those who suffer from the policies of the banks, united against the banks, united against the condemned coalition to win a famous victory for ordinary people. Thank you very much.
No ifs, no buts, no fees, no cuts, no more buying lies from his evil fuss. No ifs, no buts, no fees, no cuts, no surrender, no retreat, not me, not us. No ifs, no buts, no fees, no cuts, no rotten politician can speak for us.